For 7 videos, we've worked on one question: how to find an edge. The run line, the total, the first 5, NRFI, strikeouts, home runs, and last time, the math underneath all of it. Today, it's the other half of the game. Once you find an edge, how much do you bet? This is Bankroll and Bet Sizing. It's the latest exciting episode in the series and the one that decides whether you're still standing at the end of the season. Because here's the truth. You can pick winners at a high rate and still go broke if you size your bets wrong. Sizing is the skill that keeps you in the game long enough for your edge to actually pay off. Everything starts with your bankroll. That's the total money you've set aside for betting. Nothing else. Then you define a unit. 1 unit is 1% of that bankroll. If your bankroll is $2,000, 1 unit is $20. From now on, you don't think in dollars, you think in units. It keeps the emotion out and it scales as your bankroll moves. Here's the habit that separates the disciplined from the broke. Bet the same size every time. Every play gets 1, maybe 2 units, not 5 because you love it, not 10 because you're due. The bet that feels like a lock loses just as often as it should. Flat betting makes sure one cold night can't sink your whole bankroll. So set a hard cap. No single bet should ever risk more than about 3% of your bankroll. It doesn't matter how sure you are. The surest bet you have ever seen still loses a big chunk of the time. The cap isn't there for when you're right. It's there for nights you're wrong, and there will be plenty of those. Now, if you do want to bet more on your best spots, there's a real way to do it. It's called the Kelly criterion. Kelly ties your bet size to the size of your edge. Bigger edge, bigger bet. Small edge, small bet. But here's the catch. Even a strong edge, say a 55% bet minus 110, tells you to risk about 5.5% at full Kelly. That's a wild ride. So smart bettors use a fraction, half Kelly, sometimes a quarter. It keeps most of the growth and cuts the swings in half. And notice where it lands you, right back at that 1 to 3% range. You have to understand what a normal season actually feels like. Take a genuine winner, someone hitting 55%. That's elite. Over 1,000 bets, that's same winning bettor should still expect a losing streak of around 8 in a row. 8 straight losses while being right more than half the time. That's not bad luck. That's just variance. If your bet size can't survive it, your edge never gets to matter. Which brings us to the fastest way to blow up: chasing. You lose a few and the urge is to double the next bet to win. Win it all back at once. That's not a strategy, that's a countdown. A few doubles in a row, one more loss, and the bankroll is gone. When you lose, you do nothing different. Same unit, same plan, next bet. The discipline is the edge. One more rule, and it's the simplest. Your bankroll is money you can afford to lose. Not rent, not the car payment, not money with a job to do somewhere else. Wall it off. When betting money and living money get mixed together, you stop making good decisions and you start making desperate ones. So put it all together. Set a bankroll. Bet in units. Keep most plays around 1 to 2%. Cap the rest near 3. And size up only when your edge, not your gut, says so. Never chase. Respect the variance and keep your betting money walled off from your life. Find the edge, then bet it in a way that lets you survive long enough to collect. And at this point, we would usually go to a heater demo because we'd be looking at one specific aspect of some specific game. But in this case, bet sizing, it doesn't have anything to do with the games themselves or the bets themselves. It's a strategy. It's essentially finance. and how to manage risk. And that closes the book on baseball. 8 episodes, how to read the run line, the total, the props, how the odds really work, and how to bet on them without going broke. You now think like the house, not the public. But the house doesn't stop when baseball does. So neither do we. Next season of How the Books Think, we bring this exact playbook to football. The spread, the total, the player props, and the math that prices every Sunday. Same thinking, new sport. Subscribe so you don't miss the kickoff. See you in the next one.